I can see the fear in their eyes. They're guarded, anxious, and quick to overthink even the simplest interactions, like they're trying to run away. Almost as if they're expecting to be harmed. Mean world syndrome. This is the tendency for people to think that the world is a more hostile place than it actually is. And the reason that this happens is because of excessive consumption of the news and from social media more recently. It's evidence that even people's perception of reality is being warped by social media and the shit that people put out there. In the real world, nothing is actually happening, and yet people act like it's the end of the world. Sometimes when I talk to strangers, I can see the fear in their eyes. So I'm solo traveling in Southeast Asia, and I've had to speak to loads of random strangers who I've never met. When I approach guys who are in their 30s or mid-30s, so they're quite a bit older than me, they're way more receptive. It's way easier to talk to older guys and like go on a night out with them because they seem more socially capable and they're not on the defensive as soon as you talk to them. Yet when I approach like another solo traveler who might be my age, like definitely a younger dude, he doesn't seem as receptive. He seems almost like on guard, on edge, like, why are you speaking to me kind of thing. And I think this is for a couple reasons, and one of them being this reason that's pointed out here, is that people being blasted with social media and they're constantly in their news feeds on Instagram and TikTok and X, they're seeing all the negative things that happen in the world. Because let's face it, on social media, it's not really going to get much engagement or clicks or likes if it's all positive and friendly and cute, apart from like cat videos or something, right? But if it's like a fucking bomb going off in Israel or something, or some horrendous footage, then people are going to be drawn to it like flies and talking about it, and there's going to be arguments, political stuff, and people are going to go in the comments and have huge debates, and that's just going to boost it on the algorithm. So everything you see in your feeds, or like 80% of the stuff you see in your feeds, tends to be negative. So people who are constantly engrossed on their phones, in their feed, in the vacuous landscape that is social media, they're going to be seeing purely the negative aspects, and they're going to suffer with this mean world syndrome. And the second reason is more social, but when you are on social media and you spend your life in your little pocket dimension, that is your phone, you sort of lose your ability to have normal conversations with random people, right? And I'm not saying I'm some super extroverted guy. I'm not. I'm an introvert, massively, and I always have been. But certainly getting off social media has forced me out of my comfort zone, right? And I think that's really important to develop your social skills and develop your ability to introduce yourself and talk to random strangers. And again, if you go on like a trip where you're traveling solo, you have to, right? It makes me realize how much constant fear-mongering has distorted people's perception of reality. What you see online is at most 0.00001% of the population, 800 out of 8 billion people. And it could be staged for clout anyway. It's not real. I avoid talking to chronically online people now. They're still stuck in the online world. Again, the algorithm, right? People are going to exaggerate. People are going to make things out to be way worse than they actually are, for clout, to get more clicks and more likes. That's what they want. They just want social validation, this weird parasocial relationship with as many people as they possibly can. And that means that that message that could be completely false gets spread like wildfire, further feeding this impression that the world is a dark and negative place. Anecdotally, I can see a direct correlation in anger, stress, and paranoia based on the time spent on social media. And I've seen the exact same thing. I have friends who are completely addicted to social media, and I can tell you firsthand that they are not as good in a social situation, in conversations, as people who basically just don't go on their phone as much. In a way, yes, I completely agree. However, politics are affecting some people's lives a lot, particularly their employment currently. People who think nothing is happening also haven't lost their job or significant income in their life. It's definitely a luxury to be unaffected by this right now. It truly is so unhealthy. Coming from a generation that didn't have social media was a saving grace for me. We grew up normally. We weren't consuming every product in sight, talking like human brain rot, copying and pasting our personalities and thoughts. We didn't have all the mean girl shit that goes on online. It's so competitive and fake also. Social media is a scourge on society. So yeah, completely agree with this. I was not in that generation. I'm 23. So actually, when I was a kid, the internet was pretty big and there was video games and all the kind of stuff that there is now. But I still went outside and met with my friends. I used to ride bikes. I was lucky to be brought up going caravanning all the time on caravan parks. So I actually wasn't really that big into social media. I was very late to the game actually when I first got my phone. All my friends had already had their phone and were established on Instagram and stuff. I was very late to that party. And at the time I felt really left out and I was kind of like a bit of an outcast at school and stuff. Part of me wishes that the current world that I lived in was like the 90s, right? Based on the stories that I've heard and stuff, that just feels like it was way more grounded, way more real of an experience. And it's not like we can't try and get closer to what that feeling would have been like. There's so many things we can do. Like the main one, just delete social media, right? I say it all the time, but just delete social media. In terms of screen time, then turn your phone into grayscale or get a passion and a pursuit that you can actually put your time and effort into. Read more books, go outside, go to the gym. So many healthy habits that we can do to replace the scrolling addiction that we have. So social media is making people more paranoid. Don't believe everything you read on the internet. The world is not as bad of a place as you think. And if you are suffering from paranoia, you're feeling anxious, you're feeling like you can't cope in social situations, you can't talk to strangers, you can't hold a conversation, then what I would say is a lot of that will be down to your over-reliance on social media. So do the hard work and get off social media, mate. Get onto self-improvement and actually start improving your social skills. Stop seeing the world as this negative place. Not everything is that bad and everything can get better and definitely will get better, but you do have to put the work in. Okay, bro, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you found it helpful, informative in any way. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.